know that. He could only ask it while it was happening live, so he would get the intel, and they couldn't spin it.
Exactly. I mean, he had to do it like that almost, because I may have given it to Jesse, not knowing, you know, because I didn't know the scope of this. Believe me, I had no idea. You know, they tried to say that I told Gary how to put it together. You know, they said that, right?
Yes.
That oh, Rick Ross dreamed this all up and put this together and fed it to Gary and got Gary to buy into it. But I didn't know none of this. They gave me more credit than I deserved.
Who would have thought the LA Times, you know, was involved? Yeah. That's how it works, though. You're going to take down a culture and bring in and make trillions off drugs. You got to run the newspapers.
Yeah, you have to. You have to. And that's what's so amazing. Even right now today, you know, it baffles me that people don't know this. I'm like, the CIA admitted it. They got a report. You can go to their website, and the report is on their website, and people don't know it.
By their Inspector General. Please continue.
So we in court, and Gary's asking my lawyer this, and then the judge recognized what's going on, and she was like, well, why you keep talking to this reporter? Why are you running back and forth to him in the courtroom? I want you to stand here and do this. We're not on a fishing expedition because, you know, Gary was asking about certain names, Enrique Ramirez. And then Blandon talks about, well, my boss goes on a fishing trip with George Bush, and when they come back, they say the ends justify the means. And all this type of stuff. But this stuff is still not making sense.
It's all Machiavelli, yeah.
To me, it doesn't make any sense. You know, I don't know. I mean, I'm learning about the court system while I'm there, but, you know, I'm not a lawyer. I'm still a novice. You know, this is a guy that couldn't read. You know, 2 years ago, I couldn't read. So I'm still learning what's going on. So then eventually we finish trial. They give me the life sentence. And a couple months later, Gary's story come out. Gary sends me a copy. I get a copy the day before it comes out. I call Gary on the phone, and then we start to talk, and he starts to tell me, you know, about the CIA being involved, about the Contras. Because, you know, I really didn't know what the Contras was. I had no clue what the Contras was. Definitely did not know that they were backed by the CIA and Ronald Reagan and George Bush. Had no clue that they was backed by that. I did know that Danilo and these guys and all of his friends were fighting a war in their country. Didn't know what the war was over. I mean, you're talking about a guy that's illiterate still. I'm still illiterate. Had never read a book.
Well, look, this stuff's complex, and you're busy anyways. It's come out Ronald Reagan, not defending him. He didn't know. It was George Herbert Walker Bush running all that as well, keeping it from him. So if the president didn't know, Rick, you can't blame you for not knowing.
Yeah, so I'm still a novice to all the stuff that's going on. But when it comes out, Gary runs it down to me. He starts to tell me, and I'm like, oh, this guy, Gary, he's out there. So the next thing I know, a couple of days later, the OIG is at my cell, the CIA is at my cell, Congresswoman Maxine Waters is there. I mean, it just starts to pour. All these people are coming and coming. I'm like, what is going on?
Let's talk about that. What did the CIA say to you when they came to your cell?
Well, they started to talk to me about how much drugs I sold, who did I get my drugs from, did I have a contract with the CIA? And I was like, no, I ain't never been with the CIA. I don't know nothing about the CIA.
They know you were compartmentalized. They wanted to act like, well, he refutes the story.
Kind of, yeah. That's what they pretty much said. And did I get drugs from Danilo Blandon? How long had I been getting drugs from him? That kind of stuff. And I was like, well, you guys want me to talk to you. Why you don't straighten my court sentence out? You know, I got a life sentence. Will you straighten my court sentence out? No, we don't have anything to do with that. We're not going to help you with your courts. If you want to talk to us, you just talk to us, and this is how we're going to do it. So that was pretty much that.
By the way, they could have snapped their fingers and got you out in a few years.
Yeah, I already know. But, you know, I wasn't cooperating with what they wanted me to do, so.
Well, that's why you're, you know, a hero overall, because more and more you had a chance once it came out that it had been going on to throw Gary Webb under the bus. You wouldn't do it.
Oh, no. I respect what Gary does, what he did, and even...
Well, you're right. He's still alive. I mean, he's living on through his, yeah.
Through a story, absolutely. You know, and people, you know, they always picking here and there about every little thing, you know, like, even with the movie, you know, oh, well, what you didn't like about the movie? How did you like this? And you know, it's like, hey, it's his spirit that people have to respect. I mean, this guy stood up for justice. He felt that even though I was selling drugs, that I still had rights that had to be respected and that we should be treated.
You shouldn't be in jail when the CIA sold you the drugs. I've had the pilot on that was flying them in to the military base. that they were then delivering to you every week.
Yeah, and what I didn't feel that way about myself, but I feel that way about guys right now in prison, because right now we have guys in prison that's been in prison 25 and 30 years, never shot anybody, never carried a gun. All they did was sold a lot of drugs and got a lot of time, and they're still there right now today.
Yeah, for those that don't know, the guns are down at the street level where dealers might get robbed or something. Up at the top, other than bodyguards, I mean, were there ever guns?
No, you didn't really need guns. The only time I would carry a gun if I went to a club or something like that and I think somebody might be going to kidnap me or try to do something to me was only self-defense. Never, I mean, if you got more money and you can never spend, what are you going to do with a gun? You know, guys who carry guns robbing people. That's because they're broke. When you got plenty of money, the only way you want a gun is to protect your money.
That's right. That's what good guns are for, is protecting your family and your money. I got my mind on my family, and I got my hand on my gun. We'll be right back with Freeway Ricky Ross. I'm Alex Jones, your host. You're getting the Inside Scoop live. Reports U.S. states pot legalization not in line with international law. UN says we can't decriminalize marijuana. See how we're going under global government? Obama says he'll put carbon taxes in on us even if Congress doesn't agree. Said that in China. See how we're living under these foreign banks' control. Parties come and go, but this continues. Look at this. This came out a few months ago. CIA admits to destroying Gary Webb's career with the country's largest newspapers. We're going to talk about that next hour with our guest. We're going to get into a whole bunch of important news. Here's the latest story at Infowars.com. Russia announces deployment of bombers over the Gulf of Mexico as a new Cold War kicks off. Survey: Americans have smartened up to mass government spying and are totally against the NSA. D.C. school strips Christmas from calendar after Muslims complain. China jails CIA's imams. And we have a second video emerging of the Obamacare architect calling the American people stupid and admitting it's a ripoff. Continuing in the UN, causing all sorts of sterilization. They've been caught doing that. That's just some of the news up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Freeway Ricky Ross is our guest. He, of course, is played by a fictional, well, not a fictional character. He's played by an actor in an account of the real-life events that happened. It's almost like a documentary in Kill the Messenger, the hit movie out about the late Gary Webb. I want to hit this right now before we talk about what the CIA said to you, about your message to young people, about where you see the country and the world going. Then I want to open the phones up because they'll ask a lot of questions that I didn't think to ask. We're also going to send out a Twitter hashtag so folks can respond, just whatever they want to come up with, to ask questions of Rick Ross, who's in studio with us. But in the few minutes we have before break, Rick, we've talked a lot about this. He was coming out with a new book. He was talking to me. He wasn't ready to come back on until his new book came out. He wanted me to put an online bibliography up of a bunch of documents. He was talking to a bunch of other people. He was talking to you. I talked to you right after they killed him, or he committed suicide, as they say, in jail. You didn't buy it. He told you they'd been breaking in his house. He'd had to move. They'd threatened him. I liked how the movie basically implies they killed him, but it ends before they kill him. This story of him shooting himself twice in the head, what did Gary Webb talk to you before he died? I mean, he talked to me about how he was very excited. He had all the proof to back up what he said. Yeah, he told me he was going to keep going, that he was going to get to the bottom of it, and that he wasn't going to stop until he was done with it. And he did tell me about a new book that he was working on, and he asked me if I would be a part of that as well. So, I mean, you know, I was talking to Kevin Booth when Kevin Booth is the one that told me about what happened to Gary, and I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. And right after when I spoke to you, you know, and that's when you asked me, you know, on air, was I thinking about committing suicide? And I was like, no, where did that come from? And I didn't really understand what you was doing until after I went back to my cell and I thought about it. What you were doing was making sure that everybody knew that I was thinking right, that I wasn't planning on killing myself, and that I was stable and whatnot. And yeah, I'm never going to commit suicide. You're never going to commit suicide? No, never. So if you get shot twice in the head, you didn't do it? I love absolutely. If I get shot once in the head. Gary Webb, you think they killed him? I mean, it looks like it to me. I mean, just I'm not a forensic or anything like that, so I really can't say if it's possible that somebody can shoot themselves in the head twice. But it just seems odd to me that a person could take a gun and, because I shot a gun before, and you shoot it and the gun does like this here.
So, and you take...
Stay there. We're going to talk more about it. Back in 70 seconds.
This is GCN, the Genesis Communications Radio Network.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put two and two together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds, is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor. Just won't quit.
After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic Super Male Vitality formula. Super Male Vitality by InfoWars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose.
I jump out of bed ready to fight these criminals every day. I look forward to waking up and taking my Super Male Vitality.
Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality and other powerful products from InfoWars Life.